Mastering the art of real estate negotiations. How do you put together a deal and make sure that you are the winner? How do you make sure that you are negotiating for your seller or for your buyer and you actually get the offer accepted in your behalf? What are some of the things that you could do to ensure that you are a top negotiator at getting the deal done, price reduced, credit given, whatever it is, deal accepted? I'm going to show you just how to do that. Hi, I'm Paul R. Atkinson, your professional coach, and I'm delighted to be here. Inside of the description, click on the link that's going to help you to be a stronger salesperson. Remember to take a look in the link below. And if you haven't already, definitely give us a like and subscribe. Stay with us, and we're going to show you just how to negotiate your deal to win. All right, let's get started on it, right? What are some of the things that you should do in order to be that top negotiator? Well, this is really interesting. What you're about to learn is magnificent. It works 99% of the time. And I've been doing it for more than 3 decades. The 5 Steps of the Sale. My book, my second book, The 5 Steps of the Sale. Negotiation is an art, and it involves having the skill set of you understanding that there is a systematic approach in how you close a deal. The 5 unique steps are conversation. That's where you build a nice rapport with that client or that fellow realtor. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to role play with you now, or I'm going to talk about a situation where you are negotiating with a listing agent. Because I've just done one 24 hours ago while I'm shooting this video. So it's fresh in my mind. Let's role play and let's show you some of the techniques how you can get this thing done. Getting back to the 5 steps of the sale, you're talking about conversation, and that's step 1. You are getting the listing agent to like you, to listen to you, to trust you, and to believe in you. And the way you do that is initially when you first send that contract over, number 1, the way you write the contract says it all. And what you do in the contract presentation says it all and helps you to negotiate. Here's what I'm saying to you. When you're putting together this contract, there's a couple of factors that's going to help you to really negotiate things real well. Make sure that you have everything clear and precise. Obviously, you're going to be typing this thing up on the computer. You're not going to be handwriting it. Those days are gone, all right? Because your penmanship might not be good enough for somebody to read. I cannot tell you when was the last time I saw a handwritten contract. So I'm just saying, don't do it. So make sure that the contract is well written up. I'm talking about everything. All the boxes are checked, man. You know, the title company information is there. You know, they got the price, you got the deposit. Make sure you get a nice deposit and explain it to your buyer, especially why would you have to negotiate very heavily? Think about it. Because there might be other offers involved. Isn't that so? Well, if a seller has multiple offers, who wins? That's what you really have to look at. So this is why you need to talk to the buyer and let them know it's a competing situation and I'm going to have to really negotiate and I need help. So let's put a hefty deposit. So for example, let's say the property they're asking $500,000. Well, you want to encourage your buyer to put $50,000 down as a deposit. And you could tell them, listen, don't worry about it. It's going to be into the escrow account with the third party, right? No problem. You could even break it down to say, we're going to put $10,000 now, and then after the inspection of 10 days or whatever, or 5 days, whatever you do, you are going to add the other $40,000. So you're going to break it up. These all help with negotiations. The conversation comes in when you send that listing agent the beautifully written, well put together offer with the proof of funds, and everything that they ask for in the MLS. You read their instructions and it's like right on point. So the phone call is going to go something like this. Hey, is this John? John, how are you? This is Paul Atkinson with XYZ Real Estate Company. I'm so delighted to work with you. I've just sent you the best offer. And I can promise you a very smooth transaction. Is this a good time to talk? Get connected with that realtor. Tell them exactly why they should choose you. Build the rapport and set the tone ahead. That is why we call it conversation, the first step of the sale. Then step 2 is curiosity. That's where you get your client or prospect, in this case, the listing agent, to be curious to hear your presentation. So when you call them up and you say, hey, I've got the best offer for you, they're curious, right? That's why you said that. And then step 3, conviction. That's where you make your presentation. So you're going to tell them, hey, listen, John, thank you so much, man. I promise you, the offer I sent you, it's in your inbox. You're asking $490 or $500,000. I'm offering you $480. And let me tell you why, because we walked through the property. We need to do these things, but I tell you right now, we're really motivated. This is a cash buyer. Explain what it is. This buyer I've known for 15 years. I can promise you, I promise you, I've been in the business for over 20 years. Tell him how long you've been doing it. Tell him he could trust you. Tell him he could believe in you. Say those things. Say it. And make your presentation. And let them know that you want the deal done. And we could work it out. Whatever the seller wants to see, we could work it out. You could trust me to get this deal done. Say it to them. And then you're going to start, when things come back at you with a counter, you already have a rapport with this listing agent, right? So now you could talk it through. What is good negotiations? Here's the technique that you really need to know. You're going to burn the candle from both ends. That means that you light a fire over here, light a fire over there. You're building a rapport, connecting and communicating to the seller through their agent, the listing agent. So that means you really got to get that guy or gal to like you, listen to you, trust you, believe in you. And you got to be articulate, and you've got to be able to communicate to that listing agent to get what the buyer wants to see over to the seller. At the same time, you light the candle on this side and you're working with the buyer, rationalizing, having them think of 2 ways. What's on the seller's mind? If you were the seller, can you see why the seller is asking you to pay a little bit more or to lower your inspection period? And versus their thoughts. You have to help the buyer to see that. That's real good negotiations. Remain calm. Do not get angry if something is not going your way. Take a deep breath and always use psychological reciprocity. You give your opponent that you're negotiating with the benefit of their beliefs, and they are morally obligated to give you benefits for your beliefs. So a good way to do this right now and to show you this and demonstrate it, because I know we're not in class, but I'm going to try to help you to understand it. Psychological reciprocity is when you give your client, like I mentioned, credit for their beliefs, thoughts, or words, or opinions. You give them credit for it. They're morally obligated to give you credit for yours. So I'm dealing with let's say I'm dealing with this scenario we're talking about. John, the listing agent, and I sent him the offer. Let's get back in the role. I sent him the offer, right? And now they countered back, and he comes back and he says, well, hey, you made an offer of $480,000. The seller has multiple offers. The seller even have a higher offer than you, Paul. But typically, you're so connected with the agent, and this is what happened to me. I'm telling a live story. John would say, hey, you know what? Even though we have a higher offer, we tend to want to go with you, but here are some of the things that we're wanting to see. I said, okay. Can the buyer use our closing attorney? Okay, that's a negotiation right there. Can the buyer reduce the inspection period from 12 days to 5 days? Negotiations right there. what you do is you take this information and at the same time, you reassure that listing agent that, listen, I'm sure everything is going to be okay. No problem. I understand what you and the seller wanted to see, and I'm sure we're going to get it done. Just give me a few minutes. I'll be back at you. You take that information and you go over to your buyer and you say, listen, we almost got the deal. I could feel it. As a matter of fact, they said that they really like us and they're feeling comfortable even though they have multiple offers, but I need your flexibility a little bit. We put 12 days for inspection. They want us to come down to 5. I think that's fine. And let's just look at it this way. We're going to get the inspector out there on the first day and we'll know. And if we want to cancel, we cancel. And then, by the way, let me be honest and explain this to you. And think about the seller. You know why they're asking you to come down to 5 days? Because they have multiple offers and they want to have a backup. And that's how I'm really winning the deal right now. Because I'm telling them that just give me 5 days and I'll be out of their hair. In 5 days, our cash offer will be hard. That's negotiations, guys. Psychological reciprocity. I know this is deep. And I've talked a lot. So remember, in the description, click on the link. That's going to help you to be a real good negotiator. And the best one I can tell you to do is investigate the book, The 5 Steps to the Sale, and the course, the 90-Day Business Accelerator, where you would sit with me one-on-one or one of our other CPCs, Certified Professional Coach, and they will teach you how to negotiate effectively. Very good. Get connected with us right now in the description. And remember, this was a talk about you using the best negotiation skills in your industry. And what we talked about was a seller, negotiating with a seller, right? For multiple offers. Now rewind, watch the video, and notice some of the things that I talk about. You've got to make that connection, and you've got to pre-program that listing agent to win. You've got to pre-program the buyer to be a rational thinker. Isn't that interesting? But that's negotiations right there, point blank. It's always a pleasure. I love to be here. I'm joyed to be here. I'm wishing you all the best. And remember, give this a thumbs up and also subscribe. And look in the description and click on the link that's going to help you to be more successful in your business today. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you again. Let's go get them, Tiger. I'll see you real soon.